Recording is on.
Hello and welcome to the DXgov governance discussions. Today is the 11th of May. An apology in advance for the background noises, but I hope they're not too loud. So going through the proposals, we have actually quite a few proposals live, although a lot of them are farming campaigns and buybacks. But starting on mainnet, we have a DXD buyback program adjustment. This would be the extension number 8 and also transferring some funds. Chris, maybe I can give the floor to you. I know you need to shoot pretty soon, so we can go through that first.
Yeah, and I mean, probably not too surprising anything in this. This is, the culmination, I think, of discussions we've had here, Discord and the forum. And so this one is, does three things. One, it makes some adjustments to the buyback program. Two is it extends it for another $1 million. And three, it actually transfers 357 ETH to the ETH relayer to make its way to the multi-chain multi-sig to eventually make its way to the GP relayer there. And so really the difference between other buyback proposals extensions is the number one, the adjustments and clarification, and just a brief, the TLDR is it provides accounting clarity on the DXD that is owned by the general treasury versus the DXD that should be burned. And then it has some clarifications on NAV to include swapper deposits and maybe some other yielding the staked ETH. And then the last thing it does is it says that in the event that the buyback reserve depletes, there's about 550 ETH in there. In the event that it depletes, DXgov will the funds from the general treasury can be used to purchase DXD at 70% of NAV, so long as there are considerations for runway moving by DXgov governance. So that should provide clarity, I think, in the short term, right? On it's clear that the buyback can go on for the next is for another 600 ETH, which is maybe 2 months, and then it provides like a little bit of clarity on the medium term, right? Saying that DXgov would commit to 70% of the general treasury. And then the third thing it would do is kind of commit to providing a long-term solution. And that's like through a more dedicated token working group. And so, that's the proposal. I guess the only other thing to say is I think Gnosis just released, I don't know, something today, or they actually like burned GNO. And so I think there is something, and I was looking at, I think Stefan's tweet, I'll find it in a minute, but Stefan's tweet is kind of, showing how giving some clarity on burning and the makeup of the treasury should give some confidence to investors and like DXD holders. And so that's like a kind of a point to consider, that hopefully we can get to that with DXD in the coming months, that we have like a place where we have like a clear structure that token holders can understand, and other new investors may like look to enter. So I think that's kind of the goal of this proposal, and hopefully some work to be done along the coming months.
Wonderful. Then moving on, we actually have the Decentral Labs worker proposal. This proposal also includes repayment of fees incurred with MME, which is one of the law firms DXgov retains through proxy, so to speak. And then moving on, we have another two proposals which are actually boosted, but I submitted the boost at a lower gas amount, so both of those haven't gone through yet, but they should hopefully clear soon. I see ETH is going down right now. One of them is a proposal to stake 2,000 more ETH with Stakewise. This proposal was actually submitted by Stakewise themselves on DXvote, and I have to say they managed to do it quite promptly. They only had a couple of questions around the external token, or like where you have the option to transfer an ERC20 token. I don't have any screen sharing, Adam, because my DXvote unfortunately is having some issues right now. So they managed to submit that relatively easily, and that should boost as soon as go into pre-boost stage as soon as my proposal is out of the mempool. And the same applies as well to the update from dxstats.eth. So I believe that was a community update. I don't know if Venki is here, or if someone else wants to give a brief update about that.
It looks great. Where I've been playing with the release, and so super excited for this. There's been a lot of cool work, and it kind of gives an overall an overall view of what Swapper is on all three chains. I think that's really, really cool. So excited for it.
Absolutely. And that's already all proposals we currently have on mainnet. And then moving on to Gnosis Chain, we have actually a few interesting proposals. First of all, we have buybacks from 192 to 195, and we have a set of farming campaigns for Epoch 16 to 17. We also have a lot of stipend requests for Dev Connect, Adam, Venki, currently live, and a couple of others on the forum, which should be going live as well soon. And other than that, we also already have a DXDAO Hackathon and Retreat Colombia October 22 proposal, which passed. This is actually the proposal to fund the team that was identified in South America to kind of investigate more into what the eventual costs and possibilities are around both the hackathon and the retreat. So I believe this proposal actually sends $2,500 to the team to kind of dig deeper into that research and come up with a bit more thorough proposal, which is one of the things that was discussed heavily in the forum, that, you know, we need some more firm numbers to commit to such a event. And other than that, we also have a member balancer. So this is around the gen on XDXDAO, which was moved around. Tammy, former legal counsel at DXDAO, also has a proposal to claim some of her DXD from her vesting schedule. And we also have a mirrored proposal from the buyback extension on mainnet. And then we also have a few worker proposals live. So Boris Block, Ether Labs, most recent one, and then the new one. And Van Grim and Zed have their proposals live as well. And that pretty much already wraps up Gnosis Chain. So a lot of proposals there, but nothing out of the ordinary, really, so to speak. And moving on to Arbitrarium, I'm actually not able to load Arbitrarium, unfortunately. So I know there are proposals there, which I believe are to launch the 18-19 epoch of the Swapper farming campaigns. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm not able to load it. I don't know if anyone else here. I don't see Venki here who's been launching them all. But I think, Ross, you checked them out, right?
In production. I think it might be a develop bug we found for Arbitrarium. So take a look on ETH.link and see if that works.
I'll try that after the call. Cheers. Awesome. And that's actually all proposals we already have on the various chains. Then another forum post, which was actually posted yesterday by Melanie, was around the DevCon event in Bogota end of this year. And I believe the rationale there was to incentivize people to book their flights and accommodation earlier, as we probably expect a lot of people to come down on Bogota for the DevCon event. And so the stipend, once and if it is passed on chain, would already be claimable now to make sure people can book their flights and hotels already in advance if they wish to do so. And, you know, already get that money refunded and not have to carry it forward until October when the actual conference is.
I don't know, Melanie's here too, but hotel lodging and hotels for sure, like securing things in this place where all these people are going to show up makes sense. It seems like you can do that in a refundable way. Flights are trickier because most flights, at least unless you pay like a massive premium, are usually not refundable. So we still don't know the exact dates, and we don't even know that DevCon is like 100% happening. It's on, but like it could change. But booking flights for like exact dates today is, I would say, is trickier because we don't know what's at the front end and the back end, so you don't know your exact dates. But at least looking at the flights and being aware and maybe starting to monitor them makes sense. But the lodging, if you can secure the lodging like as a refundable thing that you can change the dates, or you can change, you could cancel if you needed to. That's definitely a smart decision. So just like some overall background. Yeah, just book flights to arrive early. But yeah, so if you're gonna just go there for the month, like some people can do, then yeah, you could theoretically book flights to show up for the month to Colombia. That's true, Ross. But
yeah, for
we
sure.
don't exact start and finish dates really of everything yet.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think this is not forcing anyone to do it, right? It's just if someone wants to book it in advance, that they don't have to wait 5 months to get it reimbursed, right? I don't know, Melanie, if you had more thoughts about this.
Yeah, no, you guys kind of hit it like right on the head. We put out this stipend just to, encourage people, one, to book all your accommodations and maybe transportation so things don't fill up too quickly. I've already been in contact with some hotels, accommodations down in Bogota, and they said that for those specific weeks, they are filling up, like all of their rooms are being booked already. So I wanted to get ahead of that. And then also, I know it's difficult to kind of front the cost for these conferences and for these trips. So we didn't want people to feel like they have to miss out because they can't afford it. I mean, if that's the case, so we wanted to just make it immediately claimable to get this stipend if you do want to go to DEF CON in October. And some things are not clearly like laid out, like the DEF CON ticket cost. If you have a travel visa, if there's a cost for travel visas, so we left like a TBD in there, so there's room for flexibility. Also, if you have any like suggestions or any opposition to the proposed stipend cost, like please like leave comments in the forum. This is, this is just a draft, so open to any feedback, and then we can continue discussing it. But just go check it out in the forum. Yeah.
And talking about conferences, on the hour, the ECTC tickets will actually be sold on their website. So anyone interested in that, make sure to be there on time, as they also sell out quite promptly, actually. And also, I don't know, Melanie, if there's a stipend being worked on for that as well, or if that's,
yeah, there is also a stipend being put together for Paris. Just wanted to get a better idea of who has tickets to the conference, and that'll be going out sometime this week as well. Yeah. But keep an eye out for that.
fabulous. Not sure if anyone else had anything they wanted to chat about, or a lot of proposals live, but actually most of them not much to talk about. Farming campaigns and buybacks, it's more regular governance and operations proposals. And surprisingly, flights from Argentina to Colombia are more expensive than from the US to Colombia. And that is actually due to the low competition in the South American continent of low-cost carrier airlines, which we are very accustomed to in the Western world, but where the South American continent is still lacking behind, for anyone who was wondering why that's the case.
You could always
just
ride in the back of Augusto's pickup truck.
True. He's driving.
The Andes. There is a travel from Bogota to
Cartagena.
Yeah, I was like gonna say it, but I don't know if I'm cool enough.
Me neither, but I just say it with confidence.
You got the confidence, man. I need that's a flight, or how does that work? Yeah. And that would be on like the day after DevCon?
Yeah, excellent point, Chris, that you bring up. We are planning on having the retreat. If you go through the proposal, there aren't any exact details of what the retreat looks like, but we do plan on having our second DX retreat in another location. And the stipend will cover the cost of that flight to get to that location. So after DevCon, fully plan on flying to Cartagena, and then that cost will cover that flight. Sorry, I'm not trying to reveal too much about like where we're going to be at, but that's what that's in there for. And flights.
Rua del Castillo number 5, 5th floor to the right. That will be my apartment.
Yeah. But there will also be another forum post coming out later, just a little bit more about the retreat. As you know, we may or may not be working closely with Lateral on planning the retreat, so I haven't like disclosed too much about what that looks like. But last year's retreat in Lisbon was really successful, a lot of team building, bonding, and it's a great way to kind of recap the conference that we'll be at the week prior. So I'm really excited to kind of get started on planning that. And like Dave said, if you book now, it's €30 from Bogota to Cartagena round trip.
And Sky, because we're thinking about tail risk today, you said maybe there's a risk that like DevCon doesn't happen. I don't know. I haven't really been following. I know that there's been like official dates and everything, and presumably there's some potential with, I don't know what the situation, I guess the COVID, whatever the COVID situation would be in Colombia. But is there, any other insight or background on?
I think it would mainly be a COVID related thing where if COVID picks up, post summer, like I think it was last summer, where everyone in the world went partying all summer. I mean, down there it's not summer, but in Europe, and then COVID spiked up, and then some countries in Europe tightened things back up. If theoretically that happened, the EF has been obviously Amsterdam was the first thing where they seemed more relaxed about it, but ETH Global and EF have both been very conservative when it comes to organizing events during COVID time, when other parties have been less conservative. And so I could see if there was like a spike down there, theoretically, it could be canceled. I know no one wants that to happen, but it is a possibility because they are I would say in general, they have been very conservative when it comes to COVID. Yeah, that's all. But we should plan as if it's happening for sure.
In other news, Sky also doesn't like to book his travel in advance. No, but of course it's a risk, but I think ultimately nowadays that's the risk. I mean, yeah. I obviously don't want it to happen, so I'll probably also be biased in that view, but let's see.
And if you do book it now, Chris was saying earlier that flights from like the US to Bogota are like $500, $600. I mean, if you get a refundable flight, I can't imagine it's any more than $800 or $750. So the stipend should cover it if you do get a refundable flight.
Yeah, if you can buy changeable, refundable flights, that's another story. But I always thought those were way more expensive.
Yeah, they are maybe like 150 more. But it looks like KLM has a lot of flights from the US and Europe, and they're good about offering like reasonable prices for refundable, changeable flights.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, if there's nothing else to speak about, keep your eyes out for 4 p.m. UTC. That's when the EFCC tickets will be live.
Sweet. Thanks.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot for your time. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thanks.